Hello, viewers. Welcome to this workshop on the Mental Health Awareness Week. And I would encourage everyone joining this live community workshop to enter their names in the chat box and introduce yourself, where you're from. And thank you for taking the time to be present here and prioritizing your mental health in this workshop. So I'll give you a few seconds to people to join and get themselves introduced in the chat box. So as you're doing this and getting to know each other in this workshop virtually and in your comfort of your own home. So today, everyone knows that most of them, I believe so, knows that it is a mental health awareness week from the 13th of May to 19th of May, the whole of this week. And also the whole of this month is a mental health awareness month. And in honor of that, Teletherapies Limited is hosting 4 live community workshops. We have already hosted 2 live workshops in the first week of May, and it is live workshops are in the YouTube channel, Breathwork with Devi, and you can take your time to consider watch it later. And today you're in one of the important topics of discussion, overcoming addiction. I'm going to share with you some strategies for people who are addicted to alcohol, drugs, or smoking. So that's the main focus of this workshop. So I'm going to go ahead and jump into the workshop. So let me introduce myself. So I'm Ms. Devi Sundar, founder and director of Therapies Limited. And myself, by background, professional background, I'm a respiratory physiotherapist and a psychotherapist over 22 years. And I have been in multiple settings, delivering my work experience, contributing to the society as well in the same, in the way of contributing my skills in clinics, hospitals, and universities, multiple settings in multiple countries in India, in Ireland, in UK. So a broader scope of healthcare settings have been, and after 20 years, roughly around 20 years of my experience, I started. So teletherapies has become live in existence from August 2021. So it is a practice where I would like to make a change in the community, offer my skills to empower people and individual to live their full potential and lead a happier and a quality life. So it is a holistic platform. If you have a question, is it a physical office there? There is no physical office. It is a virtual practice, a holistic therapy I'm offering to people with challenges of respiratory condition, mental health challenges, and occupational health and well-being issues. So we offer in-person workshops or seminars or talks to organizations, small to medium organizations, schools, university, on the multiple other mental health challenges and or getting educated about their team ambience, how to interact, resilience, so multiple workshops. So to have a broader view, what I'm offering to the community and also the whole teletherapy service offering to the community can be viewed on the Teletherapies website. It's tele-therapies.org. So today I'm the speaker and the facilitator of this workshop. So I'm going to keep my aim very simple. As I already mentioned, this workshop is going to focus on overcoming addiction, and I'm going to focus on substance use addiction, mainly alcohol, drug, and smoking. And I'm going to share you some strategies, especially emotional resilience strategies, and how to overcome your coping mechanism if you're in the journey towards withdrawal. And also, for all of this to happen, you have to understand how your brain works. Why are you getting addicted to these substances? That's what I'm going to be focusing on this workshop. So you cannot bake a cake without knowing the recipe of the cake. So you need to know your brain is the recipe which cooks some thoughts that is actually making you to reach out to the substances. For example, if your brain thinks that you're thirsty, it is a choice you make whether to reach out for a water or to other substance, harmful substances. So this is something what we are going to discuss in depth and share. And I would, as much as possible, would like to keep this workshop interactive. So I might be asking you to share some of your thoughts or rate some of your emotions. So please do engage in the workshop to get the most out of this workshop. So, the agenda today I'm going to share is about the global, especially on the addiction, and also the UK burden of addiction. And I'm going to also share about how your brain and body works in the addiction, and also how to conquer your cravings and urges related to addiction, and how to manage your withdrawal symptoms. So people who decide to withdraw from addiction, it is not easy once your brain has formed the habit of reaching out for the substances. It will be a process of too much difficult for people to withdraw. And the research evidence also proves that there's a 20% relapse, people who are trying to withdraw. So I'll be discussing on that particular part more in depth, and also sharing some of the tips how you can manage that. And also I would share some tools for emotional resilience and strength. So now I want you to be comfortable in this workshop and in a mindset that you can consume some of the details which I'm going to throw in this workshop to you. So I want you to go ahead and look at this emotional scale displayed on the screen, and close your eyes and feel your emotion. So, and for a second, closing your eyes and feeling your own breath, and then open your eyes and now look at the scale and rate how are you feeling today in the chat box. So I'm going to give 30 seconds for people to do this. Okay. Now, I believe so. People are calm and in the mood to take some information from me. I'm going to throw some little questions here. So, the first question: if you could have any superpower, what would it be and why? So, you can throw it in the chat box, that will be more welcomed. Or if you want to write in a piece of paper. 45 seconds. Okay. Now let's move on to the next question. What's the most interesting thing you have ever done or experienced? 45 seconds again. The time started. Now, let's go on to the next question. What's your favorite thing about where you live? That's an interesting question. So, anyway, for me. So, what's your favorite thing about where you live? Great. Thank you for taking the time. And I hope that you have your answers and also gave some moments of your emotional awareness and your thought patterns and what you felt about this question. All this is actually a warm up exercise for you to prepare into the big details now. So let's move on to the big detail, what I promised earlier. So, looking into the burden of addiction globally and in UK. So in 2016, the data actually confirms mental and addictive disorders affecting more than 1 billion people globally. And 7% of them is global burden is measured in the disability adjusted life years, majorly where depression and 35 million people suffer from drug use disorder. And alcohol is the causal factor for more than 200 disease and injury conditions worldwide. So approximately 3 million deaths due to alcohol, and 1 in 7 people smoke tobacco worldwide, and that causes burden of disease. So this is to help you to understand how much big the burden of the addiction overall globally. And coming back to UK, 2.8 million people in England suffer from drug use and disorder, and opiate use is the largest substance consumed, followed by the alcohol. And in 2020, figures confirm 3,000 people have died due to drug misuse and 4,500 people due to drug poisoning. This is so alarming. And it is actually a gift to be having the opportunity to be here in the world. And we are losing a lot of lives because of the issue of addiction. And we will go in detail in the following slides why you do and what you do. But back to the data here, 14.1% of people age 18 and above smoke cigarettes, and it is about 6.9 million people representing this group. And Public Health England data in 2016 estimates addiction cost for the alcohol alone cost 3.5 billion, and overall impact of illegal drug use, the figures are 20 billion annually. Alcohol use alone is 25 billion annually. And this is impacting the productivity, the work, and the nation's whole economy as well. So the UK business losses are 7.3 billion annually, and 27,213 per employee per year of the small or the medium-sized businesses. So, as a result of this addiction, there is loss of productivity, and also there is increase in antisocial activities like burglaries, domestic burglaries, estimated to be 27% of total crime. And the crimes committed due to alcohol, other than burglary, is over 9.3 billion per year. And this is all the data from UK. So now it's time to understand, yes, addiction, we saw the big impact of it on the global and UK, what it is. It is a disease and a disorder. So it is a chronic disease characterized with obsession and compulsive patterns of behavior. And it is also a complex and a chronic neuropsychological disorder. Because we are not understanding or looking or perceiving it as a disorder, it is still being continued widely. And one of the initiatives, what most of the health professionals might be considering to take, is to educate people about addiction who are actually in the addiction services, and also to educate the family as a whole, so the information is spreading across how dangerous this is. And it is actually a persistent and intense urge to use drug or engage in a behavior that produces a natural reward, because as humans we are continuously seeking for reward validation from external, and we are easily getting bored with the regular activity. So this is the main thing happening, reason, and also happening in addiction, to reach out for that substance which gives you a temporary or a momentary pleasure. And although you are able to understand its momentary pressure, you have your wiring inside is changed to seek it again and again, which I'll be discussing in detail in the following slide. But addiction impacts you to know is it impacts your brain function and also your behavior. So when we talk about addiction, I initially started up the workshop saying that today I'm going to only focus on the alcohol, smoking, and drug use addiction. But addiction is two major categories. One is the substance, which I'm just dealing with it today, and sharing you with tools and strategies for overcome it. And the other part of addiction is a behavioral addiction, like compulsive gambling, internet gaming disorder, excessive use of social media, work, or shopping, or excessive addiction to sex, etc. And coming back to the substance use, it is classified by the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Health Disorder 5. The substance use disorder, it is not only includes the alcohol or other drugs and tobacco, it also includes caffeine as well. And substance-induced disorder is another category which causes intoxication, withdrawal, or other substance medication-induced mental disorder. So addiction changes the way your brain functions, and hence your behavior is actually conflicting to your value system, what you have learned and trained when you're small. Yeah. So no one is born with addiction to alcohol or drugs or smoking. It is a habit which you're learning as you're growing, getting into the adult stage. From transition from teenage to adult is a main area where people actually get into or grappled with this kind of harmful behaviors. So, what is actually why you do what you do is because there is a neurochemical effect. So I've explained earlier, I mentioned earlier that your brain structure and function changes, and so your brain chemistry also changes. Our body is full of cell and chemistry, yeah, and we are as a whole outside, but constantly every second our body is actually functioning because of the interaction of the cell and chemistry. So this addiction actually changes something in your brain, and that is actually changing the chemistry, and that's leading to your more craving and urges to reach out for it. So there is a neurochemical effect inside your body. And also there is a genetic and environmental impact, partly genetic, and also the environment. If you're growing up in a family who have addiction issues, or if you're in a friend circle who are in addiction issues, then you're also with the peer pressure or the family pressure, you're getting into the habitual way of addiction to the substances like alcohol, drugs, or tobacco. And behavioral coping, most of the reason, or people give out for addiction is coping with stress, emotional pressure, or difficult issues. And this is a part where the attachment style comes into play, where as in early years, the attachment style develops, the way we form relationship and bonding, and that is trained by an early caregiver, whoever it is, mostly majority of them the mother, early caregiver, in some cases can be father. So that is actually getting you in the pattern or the behavior of learning how to cope stress, how to build relationship, and how to get ingrained in your value system, how to respect your body. So those are all actually learned behaviors, and which will support you whether addiction is a choice. Yeah. So your attachment style will support the choice of your addiction. So, what are the effects of addiction? Is it is going to impact your physical and mental health? Yeah, definitely. And it's going to strain the personal and your work relation. And you have a lot of withdrawal symptoms, which I'll be discussing. So, now, first, before we go into those details, I want you to know the brain power, your brain power. Yeah, as you can see in the slides, so our brain has a prefrontal cortex, yeah, which is a thinking brain in your terms, and also we have the limbic brain, which is the feeling brain. What you feel at moment, what you feel, and that is all by your limbic brain, and the reptilian brain, which is the instinct brain. So getting reacted if there is a fire, getting jumping on and going out of the building. So that is an instinct brain. So that's the reptilian brain saving us from danger. So this is the three main brains inside, and overall, it is categorized into conscious mind and subconscious mind. So the limbic brain, that is your feeling brain, and your reptilian or instinct brain, which forms the subconscious mind, is 90 to 95%. And your thinking brain is a conscious mind, 5 to 10%. As the example which I mentioned earlier, if you're feeling thirsty, reaching out for water or alcoholic drink or any other harmful substances is a choice what you make. Yeah, and that choice is made from your prefrontal cortex, and then it is actually then transmitted related to your feelings, how you had an effect using that substance or drinking that water, how you felt earlier, and that is the feeling which is already registered or stored in your memory, which then supports your decision making. So our brain is two-thirds of the brain is actually fat and is composed of billions of neurons and trillions of synaptic connections. So it's a lot of wirings in our brain. Yeah. For example, the light bulb in your room is connected to a cable and a box where the energy then transmitted through the cable into the light bulb, and then the light is coming out. Whatever we are thinking is communicated out through our actions, and that communications are done by the neurons and synaptic connections in our brain, and the brain and body is communicating in two ways. So the neurons, which I said, the cables have a covering which is called the myelin, which is 70% of fat. Why I'm focusing on this is because your alcohol or drug or other harmful substance is going to deplete these fats, it reduces this fat, and so there is a lot of degeneration in your neurons, and that is impacting into you're setting yourself into cognitive decline using all those substances. So let's then move on to what is happening in my in your addiction pattern. What is your brain activity happening? So the first activity is reward pathway or dopamine. So when someone tries alcohol, smoking, or a drug, it activates your prefrontal cortex to make a choice. Yeah. And I want you to also, before I could go move further, this is you can see this brown dot there. It's the basal part of your forebrain. That is actually the nucleus accumbens, which plays, it is actually an interface, neural interface between your thinking brain and your emotional brain, feeling brain. And it is helps you to get more motivated and get into action. This is the main role, this is the main part there which plays a role in feeding, sexual activities, reward, stress related, drug self-administration behaviors, etc. So whenever there is a desire, and that desire is getting into action, this is the communicator which is actually doing that job. So what happens when you're going back to the reward pathway and dopamine? You're making a choice to reach out, and then once you consumed this drug, it stimulates your nucleus accumbens, and it releases the dopamine, which is a feel-good hormone, pleasurable hormone, rewarding hormone. Okay, rewarding neurotransmitter, not an hormone. So it is actually making you feel that you've achieved something. You have actually feeling good, and you're being validated, and it's all coming from your inner child. um, I would put it down to trauma or the stress, whatever you're related to. So that is actually making you, this release of the dopamine, making you to feel you're actually comforted, you're supported, you're confident, you're good. Okay, and because you're not getting it from the external environment. And so this is actually happening. And what happens, why you're getting more tied up or gripped to this addiction is the wiring changes. Once you first start to taste it, the wiring then changes when you reach it again and again. So the nucleus accumbens getting overactive, and then there is a weakening of connection between your thinking brain and your feeling brain. Yeah, as a result, there is an impairment in judgment, decision making, and impulse control, which is the hallmark of the addiction. Yeah, so you're not able to control, although you have believed that you wanted something to make you feel controlled. Yeah, but you're not in control. Once you continue the drug or smoking or alcohol, you are under the control of those substances. Yeah, hope that makes sense. So there is a lot of things what we actually imagine in our mind, um, in our conscious mind. Sometimes we actually distort and delete and generalize that. Yeah, and that generalization sometimes goes against our own values or health. So what are the, apart from your brain being act with this wiring changes due to those substances, what are other things happening? Is my organ safe inside my body? The answer is no. Because of these substances, your organs are all affected. Yeah, as you can see on the slide, your breathing, your lungs are getting affected, your shallow breathing, and it elevates your temperature and lung cancer. I only mentioned few things, and a lot of other changes, harmful changes happens to your lung. And then your sleep disruptions there, and drowsiness, decrease in coordination, slurred speech, impaired judgment, motivation, learning skills, mood and behavior are also impaired. And it also affects your heart, and your heart is inflamed, and there is a raise in your blood pressure. Those are all impacting again your thinking process, your emotions as well, because your blood flow, your lung and heart works in coordination to send that oxygen to fuel that brain. And as a result, you're having a more of a rational and a conscious thought process. But if this is reducing, some kind of subconscious trauma is overruling your thought process, because subconscious brain mind is actually storing a lot of memories from our childhood, and the good and bad behaviors, and also some of the values, belief, what you learned and observed during your childhood, and your instinct brain, the intuition by your feeling. We all say, like, I have a gut feeling. That's not right. So something that has actually been stored for long term, so that is actually affected. Your subconscious mind is affected by the addiction process. And the esophagus, esophagus is also affected. You have esophageal cancer, gastroesophageal reflux, and your kidney is affected, leading to kidney failure. Your bowel is affected, inflamed, irritable bowel syndrome, colon cancer, and there is a dysregulation of your insulin and your fatty liver, alcoholic hepatitis, fibrosis, cancer. There are multiple other conditions. As I stated earlier, there are more than 200 diseases due to alcohol or other harmful substances being affected in your body. And overall, our skin is also affected, premature aging signs, and there is erectile dysfunctions and oral decay. And so I can add on many more harmful effects due to the substances like alcohol, tobacco, or drugs. So I would recommend you to watch these videos as there is loads of information you need to know related to your alcohol or smoking. So these videos can give you more information related to this topic of addiction. And you can find those videos in my YouTube channel, Breathwork with Devi. So you can go ahead and after this workshop or in your own time later watch those videos to get more informed on addiction. Now, let's take a moment to reset the system. We have consumed some information, and are we going to register? We have been in a conscious state, in a beta state, listening, and I'm communicating to you. Let's go back and close our eyes and try to register all the information and reset our body to a calmness. So I would advise people to close your eyes if possible and take a deep breath in for 4 counts through your nose, and a second deep breath and breathe out 8 counts. So thank you for participating, and let's move on to further what to expect in recovery. So people with addiction at some point in their life would actually feel shamed, embarrassed for their family reason or relationship, wanted to give up addiction or for their own health. And when they actually decide this, which is unhealthy kind of thinking process, but because the wiring is changed, it is so difficult. You cannot reset your body immediately. Yeah. So there are challenges in withdrawal. So initial challenges is your physical and emotional challenges like anxiety, irritability, cravings, headaches, or nausea. And the emotional disturbance, again, anxiety, depression, and irritability, and mood swings. And long term challenges, the cravings relapse. Researchers confirmed that 20% of them relapse within a month. So, due to the stressful environment or certain social situations, so those are the reasons for the long term challenges. So, but if you overcome this initial challenge and the long term challenge, the benefits are abandoned. Yeah. So, you would have an improved health, better physical health, clear thinking, and more energy, better relationships with your family, friends, and your work colleagues, enhanced quality of life, greater sense of control, and a purpose of your overall well being. So, if you would like these benefits in your life, there is some degree of patience and consistency in the approaches, what you need to incorporate in your withdrawal. So, why these cravings and how this brain is patterned in our wiring system to crave for this is cravings are actually not only related to the alcohol or the substances, also to the food. Yeah, to a greater degree, we crave for some food. Yeah, in a phase when you decide to do a dieting to lose your weight, and you crave for to eat whole cake. Yeah, so craving applies to all of this. Yeah, and our brain functions the same way, or the pattern same as the craving for the food. Similar, it is a craving for the drug or alcohol or smoking, whatever substances you use. Excuse me. And so The Yale University School of Medicine have actually identified a neuromarker for craving, like the biomarker for the diabetes. The neuromarker for the craving is a neurobiological craving signature they have identified, and they have identified this. The both the cravings for the food and the drug has the same pattern of activity, same brain pattern of activity happening inside the person. And this is a research which is going to support us to understand many things around addiction and also help to reduce the burden of the addiction around globally and also in UK. I hope so. And so the brain regions, which is mainly in the craving, is the reward pathway, which I've already discussed earlier, the dopamine release, feeling good. And also it is connected to the sensory, yeah, your feeling brain as well, the sight and smell, and also the pleasure and the stress. Like whenever you are not able to achieve something, your mind says you're not actually good enough, and then that is actually trying to reach out for some reward or pleasure to make you feel better, and people do reach out for that, crave for the substances which make them feel better. And that leads to the motivation to act. So cravings, to give it in one line, craving is the choice what you make. Yeah. And you need some resilience to control the choices. It's like you're driving in a road and there is a speed breaker. So you cannot drive with the same speed, but you have to slow down to go over the speed breaker and then continue increase your speed. So whenever there is a urge or desire like a speed breaker, it is a choice what you make, whether you're reaching out for a healthy way of satisfying that craving, or you're reaching out for the substances. Now, how do you actually conquer? The techniques to conquer is mindfulness. Earlier, I described the conscious mind, which forms 5 to 10%, which is our short term memory, willpower, critical thinking, logical mind, yeah, reasoning out mind. And the subconscious mind, which is actually the 95% of our mind, which is the feeling and the instinction and a lot of things under it's a long-term memory of emotions and beliefs, habits, and all other things over there, which I discussed earlier. So these two minds, because there is a lot of neural activities, they communicate with each other. And the communication is happening through brain waves, the neural activity. So our brain is hit by 4 billion neural activity every second, and our conscious mind can only consume a fraction of it, 2000 bytes, and the majority of the rest of the part is consumed by our subconscious mind. So when I'm now talking to you and you're listening to me actively, that is with your eyes open, then it is we are in a beta state. Yeah, the brain waves are in beta state. And when you're closing your eyes and relaxing, yeah, or daydreaming, yeah, that is where the alpha state is. Yeah, so where your brain activity goes in alpha state, and it is more into creativity, imaginary, and that's the state where you go. And that is actually is a calm state where you're understanding your own self, you're understanding, becoming aware of your feeling, you're able to understand that your own body and your feet on the ground is touching. Yeah, those are the senses, mindful activity. That's the alpha wave. So that in that mindfulness practices, you can also, after sensing all of those environment around you and the senses, the smell, your sound, and those are the to and your vision, if you wanted to do mindfulness, sensing the environment, and those are all the signals that are sending to your brain, and you're actually becoming aware of what are the connection of those feelings to that mind. And when you're seeing something or when you're smelling something, and it is about your own awareness, self-awareness can be improved, and you can then make a conscious decision of using your prefrontal cortex, whether I need to reach for a water or a wine glass. Yeah. So this is where your change or unlearn the pattern, what you're getting used to, the new pattern, the addiction, you can unlearn that pattern by going into the mindfulness. You can control the impulses. We all actually, to a greater degree in our practical lives, got used to act instinctively with our reactions rather than responding. The response comes when you're actually aware of yourself and aware of others around you, especially the emotional intelligence, what I'm focusing here. It's a very, very key for a healthy mind and body for yourself and the relationship with others around you. So that's very good practice what you can go into, and identify your why you're doing what you're doing. Yeah, identify your negative thought patterns and what are the cravings you have related to that, and also some distraction methods, healthy way of distraction, because people who use the substances always actually go into the this way of using the substances in a way that they are rewarded, but other ways can reward them. Yeah, walking, running, yoga, or social activities, calling a friend, or attending a meeting, all will help. Now, identify your patterns. Yeah. So, what is that you actually making you to reach out for that glass of wine or a cigarette or a drug? What is that emotion that is triggering you to reach out for those substances? As you can see on the slide, there are different emotions. So, take a second to look at the slide and you can write it down to yourself. What is that you're reaching out for? What makes you, what are the feelings or the emotions that makes you to reach out for those substances? Now, after that, reflect on these questions. Am I happy to have another year of a drug, alcohol, or smoking? Yes or no? Do I feel better having made this decision? Yes or no? Do I feel healthier or worse? Yes or no? Do I feel smart having this decision made? Yes or no? So reflect on these questions, and it applies personally to each one of you attending this workshop or watching this as a replay. Be honest to yourself. No one is actually watching you, but honesty comes from where you are more honest to yourself for your own health and well-being, because you're given an opportunity and a freedom to be here out in the world, but that freedom comes with a responsibility for your own self. Yeah. So with that honesty, if you could approach this reflection question, you can get some answers for your addiction. And now, I want you to take a comfortable seated position. Whenever you have this craving or desire, this is a very useful pranayama which will actually subside your urge feeling. Yeah, it's called Bhakstrika, which is a breath of fire. It will burn your urges or cravings, which is not healthy for you. Yeah. How do you do it? Taking a comfortable position, seated on the ground or in a chair, and you're going to use your own breath. Every tool is inside you to help you. So once you realize that, that is going to help you. So breathing and emotions are very much connected. So breathing is going to help you to change the emotions into a good emotion. Yeah. So breathing is going to activate your parasympathetic, your calmness, because the negative emotion always activates your sympathetic system, because negative emotions always send signals that you're in danger. And to do a reverse of a negative emotions, you need to activate the calm and digest system. And that's where the breathing comes into play handy. So as I mentioned, taking a comfortable seated position in the chair, you're going to take a deep breath in and breathe out to warm up and feel your breathing first. So now you're going to practice this Bastrika. Once you feel that your breathing is set, you're going to take a breath in quickly and breathe out quickly. Where your fire is coming from your abdomen, your belly. Yeah. So you're breathing in. So you're going to do that as 10 cycles. Yeah. And this is one form of doing Bastrika. It's going to cleanse or break that habit pattern, cleanse your mind and breaking that habit pattern, and fuel your body with more calmness rather than with more negative energy. The second variation of Bastrika is with your arms, yeah, with your hands open. So you can actually, you're going to do a breathing in through your nose and breathing out. So you have to be quicker. You can start slowly when you're starting as a beginner, and then be very quick in breathing in as you're going up with your arms up, and then breathing out as you're coming down, and you're taking your elbow slightly back to chest. So this is the action or movement. And the other variation is your arms actually facing that, and you do when you're going down, you're going to make a fist. So you're doing this as 10 cycles. So this is a very good way of breaking that cravings or urges and getting reset your mind and the body. And the other coping mechanism, what I would like to throw light on here, is in the part of the hydration and nutrition. I'm not going to give a lecture on hydration and nutrition, and you know what is healthy, yeah? But you're making a choice to reach out to this alcohol or drug or smoking, whatever it is. But you're very well having that knowledge and idea. I'm not going to fill you again with that. But the one tip is people who give a reason or excuse using reaching out to the wine is that because of the flavonoid, good for heart, and those kind of stories. Goodness is in everything, yeah. So in eggplant or brinjal, flavonoids, alkaloids, and antioxidants are there. They have a neuroprotective properties. They suppress the neuroinflammation and improves your memory, learning, and cognitive function. Why not try that? Consider that if you are a person who have a belief that wines have flavonoids, but there are flavonoids in the vegetable. And the other thing is the exercise, the physical activity that releases your endorphins, we all know, and it improves your mood and reduce stress. And that is helpful for your withdrawal symptoms. And the oxytocin part, which I've already discussed in my earlier sessions, having a supportive friend or a family member or joining a support group will be a good way to come off the addiction and feel more supported and validated. Now, how to build emotional resilience and strength. The resilience is thrown out all over the places. And don't forget, you have resilience inside you. It is only your choice of whether you want to reach out inside you, that resilience, which is already existing. Yeah. So, some of the other ways where you can kickstart your resilience inside you is by surrounding yourself with positive people, positive influences around you who encourage your recovery, and finding a therapist who can guide you and keep you accountable through your way of recovery from addiction, and the mindset shifts like practicing some gratitude or affirmation. Those are all the things which is going to help you to unlearn the pattern of the behaviors or the habits, and then relearn. Research has confirmed that learning a new habit on average takes 66 days, and it depends on individual based on the attachment style and the environment they are living in. Those are all the additional supporting mechanisms that will help you to make a new, unlearn the harmful habit and relearn the healthier ways of seeing things, because whatever we are feeling right now is momentary. Yeah, our feelings are momentary and it can be changed, but those feelings are also registered in our subconscious mind. And so whenever you have talk about some experience or looking at something, oh, that is actually a dangerous place. Yeah, because you had something related to that, but that place could have changed. That place could have been dangerous because of some of the multiple reasons, because of the people or because of the system. But now you have that experience and you're relating that experience, that is a totally a bad place. But you can truly unchange your ways of thinking. And one way is practicing gratitude and positive affirmation, which will help you there. Now, the next breathing, which I would like to focus here, is the Nadi Shodhana, or alternate nostril breathing, which is going to help you in stress reduction. So, a lot of the reasons what people give is I could not cope my life, or I'm most having a stressful work, or I'm having a stressful partner. Whatever this reason of stress is, stress is something which is going to be supportive as well. We need some form of stress to mold us, and also stress also supposed to some degree to the mold our immune system. But at the same time, excessive stress damages our immune system and damages a whole pattern of thinking, damages our relationship, a lot of other things, and also damages our internal body system, increases that inflammatory responses, and damages the organs inside us, which leads to chronic illnesses and diseases. So, to reduce the stress and to reset our body, and this is something which I also shared in my earlier workshop, and I'm going to repeat that again. Nadi Shodhana is a very good way to reset and activate that parasympathetic system of calm and digest. So, how you do it? Again, taking a comfortable seated position and taking your two fingers and placing it between your eyebrows, and placing your thumb on your right nostril and placing your ring finger on your left nostril. And with this position, now you're going to close your right nostril and take a deep breath in through your left nostril, and close your left nostril with the ring finger and breathe out through your right nostril. And then again, close your right nostril. No, breathe in, sorry. Close your right nostril and breathe out. And this completes one cycle. So breathing in through the left, breathing out through the right, breathing in through the right, and breathing out to the left is one cycle. So repeat this for 10 cycles, and that might be very helpful to reset your stressful emotions or negative thought patterns in your mind, and resets your body into a calm state. Now, again, when you're trying to unlearn something, you also need to look into what you're talking to yourself. What you're actually positive self talk to a greater degree influences the thoughts and the beliefs, what you're believing in something or wanted to execute something. For example, the self starter phrases here: my life is a journey, I will travel it with purpose and grace. My presence is a gift. I will share it with kindness and generosity. My energy is sacred. I will use it wisely and mindfully. So, these are some of the positive self starter phrases which you can focus after doing the Nadi Shatana, or the physiological sigh, which I've taught in the previous session. These are the two calming way of breathing technique where you can focus on that, calm it, and then when your mind is calm, instill the seed of this positive phrases into your mind. Yeah, when your mind is in anxiety, you cannot instill any of the positive phrases. So don't ever please do try when you're very anxious and feeling very negative. Don't start to say self-starter phrase. Your mind is not going to listen to you. Yeah. So you need to actually start your phrases once your body is reset into a calm state. Yeah. How you do it? Use one of the breathing techniques what I taught, and that will bring your mind to calm state. And then you can go into the self-starter phrases. Now, I'm going to also give you some of the support systems available around widely in UK and especially locally in Gloucestershire, in my place. So the NHS has a wider range of addiction services across, and it depends on the trust, local trust, and the service might delivery might differ. And so, how you get into this addiction service is by referral from the GP or by your self referral to the addiction specialist. And also, the Gloucester Drug and Alcohol Services offer some support as well, one-to-one support, knock on their doors for support. And Gloucestershire Recovery Partnership also offers, through partnering with organizations like Turning Point and CGL, one-to-one counseling, peer support, and employment support, and loads of things for people with addiction. And the local support like Alcohol Anonymous and Narcotic Anonymous, Smart Recovery, multiple things available locally as well, around in Gloucestershire for people to get into the support. And there is an online and telephone support what NHS offers. So the number is displayed there, 111 helpline, or the drink line number displayed on there, and the Frank number displayed on there. So to have a confidential support for people struggling with alcohol addiction or any substance addiction like smoking or tobacco. So we are here to help. The so teletherapies, as I mentioned earlier, is a holistic platform which offers support to people with chronic respiratory disease, mental health challenges, and also occupational health and well-being. The main concept here, the focus of addiction, is more connected with teletherapies because I do strongly believe that our mind is a foundation, and the chronic respiratory disease or chronic other illnesses, communicable or non-communicable, mostly non-communicable disease, are related to our mind issue and our brain issue. And if you look after our mind, we'll be able to have a good foundation and less challenges with our health. And so we all consider going to the gym, but we don't consider going to a brain gym. So we are offering a holistic services to for people with addiction, as this workshop is focusing, packages to reclaim their life. So there is a reclaim program offered in teletherapies where you can unlearn your patterns, liberate your breath, and live a happier life. So there is a 30 minutes free one-to-one consultation for the reclaim program. So do scan the code and or visit our website, and we will do a consultation and then offer the package to you. Now we are also fundraising for Age UK. So your generous, kind donations, little any little will help and support our fundraising efforts towards Age UK. And we strongly believe educating and empowering people make changes in their life. And hence we are hosting this event to raise the fundraiser for the Age UK. So do please scan the code or go into that link and provide your kind support. And I would also wanted to leave you with a upcoming webinar, not webinar, sorry, workshop on the 24th of May at the same time, 11:30, and we are fundraising for CCP, Caring for Communities and People. Please do actually share your kind, generous support. If you wanted to support CCP instead of Age UK today, more than welcome. Yeah, so it is your choice. You have two fundraiser and you can choose your cause which you want to support. And the workshop is related to understanding addressing domestic abuse. So I hope to see many of you on that. And you can contact us on the information here. Our details are on the slide, and also on the YouTube channel, Breathe Thrive with Devi. We have loads of informative videos that will support your mind, lung and mental health. Now take a moment to breathe in, 4 counts, and a second breath in, 2 counts, and breathe out, 8 counts. Now, thank you for your attention. And if you have any questions, please do throw into the comment box. And I do appreciate there is only 30 seconds left. And if you throw into your comment box all the questions, I can respond to it. And as this workshop is streamed into the YouTube channel, and you can also throw your questions over there, and I'll be responding it. So thank you once again for your presence today and your time. And I will see many of you in the upcoming workshop on the 24th of May.